We live in a world now where justice means not getting screwed by a highly politicized and weaponized judicial system.
At least for now.
Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and this is Winnie the Westie, and an update in the Project Veritas story. This week, a judge granted a motion in part ordering a special master be appointed to inspect the materials seized from James O'Keefe and two other journalists at Project Veritas. Oh yes, the materials were seized by the FBI, and if you don't know the story, a 30,000-foot overview. Over a year ago, in the context of the 2020 presidential elections, an anonymous tipster contacted James O'Keefe or someone at Project Veritas saying they had come across Ashley Biden's diary. Ashley Biden, for those of you who don't know, is President Joe Biden's daughter. Yes, President Joe Biden has a daughter and her name is Ashley Biden. These anonymous tipsters contacted Project Veritas, said they came across her diary and some other personal belongings that she allegedly left in a room that they were staying at. Project Veritas was not convinced by the story. The tipsters were doing business through a lawyer, which is always a little sus, as we say in the industry. Project Veritas, after having looked into the situation, looked into the diary, decided not to publish the diary. They wanted to give it back to the tipsters, but the lawyers wouldn't want to take it back. So Project Veritas gave the diary and the other personal belongings to the authorities, and that was a year ago, and nothing happened until a year later when the FBI shows up at the doorsteps of James O'Keefe and two other journalists at Project Veritas to seize their cell phones and other materials. No joke, exaggeration, or hyperbole. You literally have the FBI seizing materials from journalists over an allegedly stolen diary. And as the old meme goes,
but wait, there's more.
Not only do you have the FBI seizing journalist materials over an allegedly stolen diary, it would seem some people suspect that the FBI or someone within the FBI was leaking that information to the New York Times at the same time, bearing in mind that Project Veritas is suing the New York Times for defamation. So you have the highly politicized and weaponized FBI seizing materials from journalists, then leaking them to their adversaries in pending litigation. And what does the New York Times do? They publish solicitor-client communications from Project Veritas with their attorneys. They published these materials, then claim it was a mistake, that they didn't intend to publish them. Bullcrap, bullcrap, bullcrap. But whatever is going on here, at least there was some semblance of justice for the day, because Project Veritas petitioned the court to appoint a special master to review the materials that were seized by the FBI, and the court granted that motion. It granted the motion in part, but we'll get there first. Let's just get to the court order itself. United States District Court, Southern District of New York, in re search warrant dated November 5, 2021, in re search warrant dated November 3, 2021, in re search warrant dated November 3, 2021, Annalisa Torres, District Judge. Stop right here. It's an exercise we have to do, whether we like it or not, in order to determine any potential bias or political leanings of the judge. So let's see exactly who this judge is. Annalisa Torres from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Parentheses within a paragraph, the free encyclopedia, sometimes you get what you pay for, but for some things it's good enough. Annalisa Nadine Torres is a United States District Judge of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Appointed by Barack Obama, preceded Naomi Reese Buchwald. Early life. Annalisa Torres' father, Frank Torres, served for many years as a New York Supreme Court Justice in the Bronx and as a Democratic member of the New York State Assembly. And her grandfather, Felipe N. Torres, served as a family court judge and was also an assemblyman. So there you have it, a clearly Democratic judge appointed by Barack Obama, so you can now digest this judgment accordingly. Some people out there are going to say too little too late, the damage is already done, and you might have a point, but justice delayed is justice denied.
Although it's better to get justice later than never.
Although this is not any form of justice whatsoever. This is just some mild protection to make sure that James O'Keefe and Project Veritas don't continue to get screwed by a highly politicized and weaponized FBI. Before the court are three motions for an order appointing a special master to review the contents of electronic devices seized by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, from petitioners James O'Keefe, Eric Cochran, and Spencer Meads. Project Veritas and O'Keefe also seek an order directing the government to investigate and provide information to the court as to alleged leaks of information about the underlying investigation in this matter. For the reasons stated below, petitioners' motions are granted in part and denied in part. The court then goes on to describe the background of the circumstances here, but the description provided by the court is so summary that nobody reading that would truly understand what is going on here. This goes back a year, and this entire situation is extremely, extremely bizarre. Background. Petitioners are all current or former employees of Project Veritas. During the first week of November 2021, the Honorable Sarah L. Cave issued search warrants authorizing the seizure of evidence from petitioners' homes, all of which are located in New York State. On November 4, 2021, the FBI recovered certain electronic devices from Cochran's and Mead's residences. On November 6, 2021, the FBI recovered 2 cell phones from O'Keefe's home. That is a very summary description of the background here. It does not mention the fact that the allegedly stolen diaries were already in the possession of the authorities for over a year before these search warrants were issued and executed. It does not mention the fact that when James O'Keefe's home was raided at 6 in the morning, the New York Times was apparently tipped off to the raid, calling James O'Keefe when they knew he was literally in cuffs for comment, and then publishing a story when he could not respond. And let me just clarify that a little more. Publishing a story when they knew that he could not respond simply so they could say James O'Keefe did not respond to requests for comments. The New York Times media seemingly, potentially, arguably working hand in hand, receiving tips from the FBI. What could possibly go wrong? Discussion. Special Master. The court shall not consider arguments related to the validity of the search warrants because the issue is not before the court.
Well, isn't that convenient for you? And the
court. The court then goes on to explain how it has the authority to appoint a special master under these circumstances, and I explained what a special master was in my last vlog on the subject, but basically a special master is, in theory, an independent third party who is not a party to the suit to review the documentation without any bias or interest as a party to the suit. But if you can imagine this, although the court has the authority to appoint a special master, oftentimes they don't, and they just rely on the seizing authorities to behave properly with the seized materials. Generally, a filter team at the United States Attorney's Office for this district, a separate group of attorneys and agents who are walled off from the investigative team, is deployed when there are concerns about the investigative team accessing privileged materials. The filter team conducts a review of the seized materials for responsiveness and privilege. Just let that sink in for a second. The authorities who seized the materials are themselves responsible for doing something of a triage to make sure that the documentation they are accessing is in fact responsive to that which they are supposed to be accessing, and that they're not accessing other privileged information. But don't worry, the team that does that is walled off from the team that just seized the materials in the first place. I don't know how many of you out there watching have any experience working at a big firm or working in law at all, or working in any circumstance where adults are supposed to keep secrets from each other while working within the same enterprise, but oftentimes it doesn't exactly work as planned. Oftentimes, somehow, people on the team that are walled off from the other team seem to have information that they're supposed to be walled off from. And so in this case, Project Veritas says, no, we want to appoint a special master who does not work within the very same institution that just seized the materials, because we don't exactly trust whatever walling off is supposed to occur. And on this question, the judge says, yes, you're going to get your special master, Project Veritas. But first, a little accidental comedy from Judge Torres. The court recognizes, as other courts in this district have concluded, that, quote, the Southern District prosecutors have integrity and decency, end quote, and the filter team alone could conduct the review, quote, with utmost integrity, end quote.
Oh, what was I laughing at now?
However, the court determines that the appointment of a special master is warranted here because, quote, it is important that the procedure adopted not only be fair, but also appear to be fair, end quote. I don't know when exactly that would ever not be the case. It doesn't matter if things are in fact fair. When it comes to justice, they have to appear to be fair, even if they were in fact fair, because the appearance of impropriety is itself an impropriety. And here you have the FBI literally seizing materials from journalists, then saying, don't worry, you can trust us to go through this material without accessing anything that we're not allowed to access. And then lo and behold, the New York Times publishes something that they ought not have had access to. Anyhow, good on Judge Torres for at least appointing a special master. Accordingly, the court appoints the Honorable Barbara S. Jones, retired, as special master, the, quote, special master, end quote. The court finds that the special master is not subject to disqualification pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 53A2 or 28 U.S.C. Section 455. The special master shall oversee the review of the materials seized from petitioners. The structure of the review process shall be as follows. We don't need to go through all of the functions of the special master here, just two in particular which are of particular interest to us. The special master shall expeditiously conduct an initial review of the extracted materials to determine what materials are responsive to the search warrants. To assist with the special master's review, the government shall provide the special master on an ex parte basis with a copy of the search warrants executed on petitioners, the underlying application materials for those search warrants, and any other information that will assist the special master in conducting her review. More simply Simply put, the FBI or the government is going to give to the Special Master not only the warrants, but the documentation that was filed in support of obtaining those search warrants, so the Special Master can determine what, if any, of the materials seized correspond to that which is in the search warrants. If any such material exists, the Special Master will then give it to the filter team, who will do the triage yet again before determining what, if anything, ought to be communicated to the investigative team. And as the filter team reviews the material, so too can the petitioners, that's to say James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, to determine if there are any objections they want to raise as to the communication of that material to the investigative team, and if there are any such objections, the Special Master will adjudicate on them. And the other item of interest, item 7, additional duties may be assigned to the Special Master by the court in subsequent orders upon notice to the parties and opportunity to be heard with regard to those additional duties. And this item is important only because they said the word duty twice. I don't care how old I get, that's always going to be funny.
Duty.
And finally, with respect to the alleged leaks, Judge Annalisa Torres rules as follows. Alleged leaks. Project Veritas and O'Keefe request that the court order the government to conduct a search for alleged leaks related to the government's investigation. Petitioners do not provide a legal basis for their request or allege that the government violated any specific rule, law, or policy. Accordingly, the request is denied. So the motion is granted in part, denied in part. Everyone can walk away feeling like a winner, except for the journalists who had their materials seized by the FBI
Over an alleged stolen diary.
As relates to the request to investigate the alleged leaks, I don't know if the judge gave an indication to Project Veritas' legal team as to what they have to allege in any new motion. I don't know if they're precluded from filing a new motion to order the government to investigate the source of the alleged leaks. We'll see what's going to happen there, but the damage is already done anyhow. But at the very least, the judge ordered the appointment of a special master, so whatever damage has been done to Project Veritas at least will be minimized or put on hold for the time being. To be determined, to be continued, and if you like my videos, you like my content, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment in the comment section below because it feeds the algorithm.
Feed me all night long.
If you want to support the channel, all of the support links are in the pinned comment. Robert Barnes and I do weekly streams every Sunday. We do weekly streams with a guest every Wednesday called The Sidebar. We are also on Locals if you want to find us and support us there, where supporters get lots of exclusive content.
Viva BarnesLaw.locals.com.
All of my content is also on Rumble, so you can catch it there, but more important than anything, take care of yourselves, check in on friends and family, make sure everyone around you is doing well, and now you know your vlog. Peace out. Peace out. Booyah! Duty.